Hello there, I'm Declan Traynor and you're welcome to the first Virginia Roundup of 2026. And may I be perhaps the last person to wish you a very happy new year. Hope your year is going well so far. We're with you a little bit later than usual. The whole family was struck down by flu since Christmas. That's why we're a little bit behind schedule with our first episode this year. But we're here nonetheless, and we've got a packed Virginia Roundup for you this month. Now, coming up, Gary Brazil will have his usual Age Defy Fitness, where he has a very interesting piece about winning in the supermarket and in the shopping aisles. Also, we have our 2-minute reset. But first, for Leaving Cert students across Virginia and indeed across the country, they're heading into the final straight in the run-up to the final exams of secondary school. And one of the big things in the front of their minds at the moment is the CAO. Well, I'm delighted to be joined on the line by Martin McGovern, who is a adults guidance counsellor at Cavan Monaghan Educational Training Board, CMETB. Hello there, Martin, and thanks very much for joining us here on the Virginia Roundup.
Thanks for having me, Declan.
And for those who may not be familiar with CMETB, who are you and what do you do? What's your function?
So I suppose when you think of in school, you had a guidance counsellor. We are community guidance counsellors. So everyone who's not in full-time education. So anyone from the age of 16 right up until any age after that, they wouldn't be in school or wouldn't be in full-time education. So for example, if they're in Cavan College, they have access to a guidance counsellor. In the universities, have access to guidance counsellors. In school, they have access to guidance counsellors. So we're community guidance counsellors. So people come into us that maybe are looking to retrain, or maybe want help with a CV, or maybe they want just want a conversation about ideas in their head and how do I get from A to B in my career. If I'd done this when I was in university, but I'd like to transfer into this. What do I need to do to fill that gap and stuff like that? That's a lot of what we do.
So it's kind of for people who are outside of the education system or the full-time education system. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And this time of the year, there's a lot of talk about CAO with the deadlines coming up. So what kind of advice can you offer? Maybe, I suppose particularly parents, maybe sometimes I'm really more worried than the students about CAO deadlines and choices and things like that.
Well, that's a fact, because before going into adult ed, I was a school guidance counsellor, and mammies in particular, they seem to be a lot more stressed than the students at times. So, look, a lot of the CO I would deal with now is for mature applicants because they're outside. But we'll probably chat today about the CO process because I'm quite familiar with it. I would have been working in schools anyway. So you're coming up to the time of year when you have to get registered for the CEO. So if you intend this September to go to any of we call them the HEIs, Institutes of Education, Higher Institutes of Education, so universities and colleges, you have to fill out a CEO and apply through that.
Mm-hmm. So for mature applicants, so anyone over the age of 23 that are intending to go to college, they would, when you go into the CEO.ie, it's very self-explanatory, but you fill in an application and you tick the box, you're a mature applicant. And they have to have the registration in by the 1st of February. Yeah.
As does every student have to be registered. Maybe not have to have their courses done, but they have to be registered. And this is where it gets a little bit maybe tricky for parents, and they get a little bit anxious because they hear the deadline is coming up on the 1st of February. You have to be registered, and then you can choose your courses. But there are certain courses, we call them restricted courses, that the 1st of February is the deadline for that. So, for example, if you're a 6th-year student in school and you're filling your CO and you're intending to do medicine, or maybe you're intending to do a course that has a portfolio with it or an exam with it, like architecture in some of the universities, you have to have a portfolio. A lot of the art colleges, you have to have a portfolio. Mm-hmm. They have to be in by the 1st of February because during February and March and April, that's when they do their interviews. If there's an interview, that's when they present their portfolios, if there's a portfolio, or that's where they do their HPAT exam if it's medicine or something like that.
So it's not just dependent on your points.
Exactly. It's points plus your exam or your portfolio or your interview. Like for the performing arts and stuff, a lot of them would have an interview process. So music would have you'd have to go and do a piece with the university. And that combined with your Leaving Cert points is so you'll often see medicine. So the max you can get in the Leaving Cert is 625 points if you're doing all higher levels, including maths. 625 points if you get all H1s. But if you look up medicine, it could be 700 points because it's your Leaving Cert plus your HPAT exam.
Right.
So those what we call restricted courses, they have to be in by the 1st of February. And for mature students, they have to have applied by the 1st of February because the CEO deal with all them now over the next couple of months. But for any student, and 95% of courses are not restricted. For any student in school that's still in school, once they just get registered, get their CA number,
you're in the system.
Can choose, and you can choose the courses later on. Now, what happens is at the 1st of February at 5 p.m. it closes. Like if you go in at 5:02, it's gone.
Yeah.
And there's no, it's a computer system, so you're not ringing someone saying, "Oh, I didn't get my application in on time."
The deadline's the deadline.
The deadline's the deadline, but it closes. So students might go in and they used to say to me, "Well, I've got my CEO number, but I want to add in courses." You see, it closes and you can't make any changes until it'll open again. It's usually around the 1st of May. So all of May, all of June, and then it closes then in July. So that gives students doing the Leaving Cert a good chance in, they'll know how their exams have gone and stuff. Maybe they want to change courses and stuff, and they can chop and change. The only thing they can't, obviously, is to restrict the courses, as we said.
And do you think is it a mistake for people to kind of list courses based on what they think they're going to get rather than their genuine interest?
Oh, yeah. Follow your heart.
Yeah.
That's the key. But look, obviously, you're sitting in school and you see a course in Trinity and it's Trinity, and there's that air of it's Trinity College, my degree is going to be from Trinity. But the course you maybe really want is maybe, and no disrespect, but it could be Athlone or it could be Sligo or it could be, and that's more suited to you. I used to say, even the geography of it, like where students say to me, well, my granny lives in Galway and I'd have access to a room in a house. Well, then go to Galway.
Yeah, be practical.
Be practical, because you have 4 years here for most degrees, and probably now you'll mostly do postgrads and masters. So, being practical, obviously, if the course you need, for example, is in Dublin, you have to be. I mean, if you can do the same course somewhere else, why would you go to a college just because it's that college or university?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, look, it's. And another thing for students, then the dropout rate in college is quite high. It can be 1 in 4, 1 in 5 will drop out. And the number one reason it comes back every year, like people think, financial reasons, or they miss mommy's cooking, or they miss home, whatever. I'm sure that's for a few students, but the majority of students drop out because they find themselves on a course that they know nothing about.
They're into deep.
No research. They didn't look at it. Computer science is a classic example. Students like computer, and I'm not too bad at science, but computer science is all math. And the point is quite low because there's a good few computer science courses around. So sometimes students say, well, it's only 220 points. So that could be an easy course.
Yeah.
The points do not reflect how easy or difficult the course will be. It's demands. And when you see a course like PE teaching can be over 500 points, it's simply because you have so many students wanting to do PE teaching, and there's only so many places. So the way the process works, the points are based on, if you have 60 places on a course and you have 300 students applied, you give the top of those 300, the 60 places go to the 60 people who got the highest points.
Yeah.
And it works its way down. So the last person to get, if you see a course at 519 points, it means the last person to get a place in that course got 519. Everyone else got above it. And that's what sets the points.
Right.
It's not somebody sitting there. It's the
demand for the course.
Who apply.
So it's nearly like demand and supply. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you might see a course down in Waterford that's very, has a massive point. But it could be location wise, where courses in Dublin tend to be higher because that's where, a lot of the
demand is.
Are heading towards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And I suppose the other thing to bear in mind is that college isn't the be all and end all. There are other ways to get into the system, and the education apprenticeships and PLC courses.
Absolutely. And all. There's never been a better time to get into any sort of career. Like, for example, if you don't get the point, and lots of students won't get the point. But the point is a very unfair system in itself, because you're the Leaving Cert, a lot of it is a memory exam, but that's not your strength.
Yeah.
Then you're not, and it's a poor reflection of all our students in the country. But unfortunately, it's the system we have, and we have to play ball with it. But you go into the Cavan Institute there, and you do a pre-university course, which I think is a no-brainer. Even if you do get the points for the course, and you get engineering in DCU, and you're thinking, or business in DCU or something like that, and you're thinking, oh, do I know if I like it? Well, go to Cavan Institute, do a pre-university engineering or pre-university business 1 year. It'll cost you €200, and then apply next year through the CEO if you think you like it.
Yeah.
So I'll take that. It's a good investment in your future, because
dip your
it's
toe.
only 1 year, And in the likes of the institutes, the PLCs, you will be shown how to write assignments. You'll be shown how to, prepare projects and stuff like that. I'm not saying the schools don't, but like you will get a lot more hands-on than maybe you would in school because you're doing 7 subjects in school.
Yeah.
Whereby if you go into a pre-university engineering, you're just doing engineering in the likes of the institute.
Yeah, it's more focused.
So yeah, and then of course, as you mentioned there, Declan, the apprenticeship road is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a great opportunity if you go down that road. For you, just the only thing with apprenticeship, you have to make sure you find an employer that's willing to take you on. And like you have to be young people don't sometimes think of this, but I'll just go and do an apprenticeship. But that employer is investing in you in the next 4 years. So, you have to make it worth their while. Like what are you bringing to the table for them?
Yeah.
Like, and that's something that maybe some younger people struggle a little bit with. They don't sell themselves. They were looking at keen and interested. And like we would find that, and I remember in school, like the students that's going into apprenticeships they're quite strong academically.
Mm-hmm.
But they're fairly driven. Like they know what they want, and they say, yeah, university's not for me. I'm going to go and do electrical or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And they tend to do well because they've made a calculated choice as opposed to, I'll just go and do an apprenticeship and not really think about it. But it's the same with college. If you don't do the research,
yeah, it's all about
you're going to struggle. And that's in anything in life. If you don't do the research on anything, you'll struggle with it. So my advice to any student, number one, get registered on the CO. Now, for the parents out there, because they'll probably be paying for it, when you fill out your CEO, it's €50.
Mm-hmm.
If by the 1st of February, if you fill it out now by the 20th, so
yeah, at 5 o'clock on the 20th, I think it is.
Yeah, you get it for 35, so €15 cheaper.
Yeah.
So it's worth your while doing that, and get registered, and then leave it. If it's not restricted courses, just get registered. Unless you're doing the here and the there, that's for if you have a disability in school like dyslexia, dyspraxia, you fill it out. But talk to your school about that.
Yeah.
And the here is a financial. If you need financial support, if you fall into a certain bracket, again, your school will talk about that. But once you've that completed, if you're not doing the here, the there, and if you're not doing restricted courses, leave it, concentrate on studying, and get as many points as you can. And then in May, June, start filling in your courses then. That's, I suppose, the most important thing, because sometimes students just keep searching courses and back. And yes, we're talking, I kind of contradict myself, but we're talking about nature and research, but don't overdo it. Like at the end of the day, you have to get the point. Get your exams focused on. You've got the mocks coming up. Focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have a good idea after the mocks where you're at and where you need to work on. One other thing I would mention, and it's probably the most important thing I'll say on this today, is order of preference. And the amount of times I would meet students who'd be like, or parents as well, I go, what do you mean by that? I didn't understand that. When you put down 10 courses, you say at level 8 and 10 at level 6, 7 on your CEO. And if your first course, we say, for example, is 380 points, and you get 380 points, you get that course, and the 9 courses you might have underneath it are gone. You get your first choice.
Right.
It doesn't. Some people think, I can select number 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't. You get one offer if you get any offer.
Yeah, the others are just there as a backup, really.
Exactly. So the computer picks, did they get the first choice? Did they get the points? Did they have the faculty requirements? And is there any restrictions? Like, for example, primary school teachers need H4 in Irish. And the computer says, look at the Irish H4. Did they get the points? Correct. If you get the 3 corrects, then you get that place and everything else disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps working its way down your 10 choices. So what I would always say to students, your first 2 or 3 choices should be your dream. If everything went well and you hit everything on the day and you got the maximum points you can get, what would your dream course be? And then 4, 5, and 6 should be the realistic, the ones that you're saying, right, that's my aim. And then 7, 8, 9, or whatever, 8, 9, 10 should be your backup.
Yeah.
And like things can go wrong. You can sit in an exam, maybe be sick, something happened, not well. This happens. This is life, and maybe you don't get the points you thought. Have a backup, and then have a PLC lined up in your head. That I would consider doing that if the exams don't go the way I hope they go.
So I suppose it's choose wisely and choose realistically. Really is the key message there.
Yes, and the key websites for students doing research is careersportal.ie and Qualifax.
Mm-hmm.
And Qualifax will give you the detail of like if you go into it, it will tell you like what subjects you're taught in first year, second year, third year, John, look through them. If you're struggling at, we say, maths in school, and then you find a course that you think you might like, and then you see, there's maths 1, maths 2 in first year, maths 3, 4 in second year, it's maths heavy, then you have to have a think about that. Is that a wise choice for me?
Yeah.
That's something just to be mindful of. You research the course, what's involved. At the end of the day, you make a choice and you hope you make the best choice.
And I suppose that's the other thing as well, to kind of make the choice for yourself, not the choice you think mommy or daddy would like you to make.
Well, look, and that's a whole other ball. Yeah. And look, that's the reality for some students.
Mm-hmm.
There's pressures from home, and maybe parents have done a career and they say, look, this is a very good career, and it's a very good career for them, and they're looking at and they're saying, I know if he or she goes into that career, they'll do well. And I mean, we don't involve ourselves in that because that's it.
Yeah.
But look for your strengths and what you're strong at. Be realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Do your research. Yeah.
And I suppose
the best shot.
As you say, if you don't get something that you really want, it's not the end of the world. There are other ways. As I say, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
And look, and I suppose that's easier for us in a way to say. I often think that because, what's a year? We think of a year flies by, but when you're 17, 18 years of age,
mm-hmm.
a year seems like a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so, trying to say that to students, look, you didn't get the point, go into a PLC and go that road. You will get to the end goal. There's so many ways to get into it.
Yeah.
You will be fine. Don't panic next July, August when you get your results and then you get your offers. It's not the end of the world. And the mad thing is, students with the Leaving Cert is such a big thing that people talk about it. There's a lot of pressure. Everyone's saying, the Leaving Cert starting there. Oh, you're in the Leaving Cert year. There's a lot of pressure on students. But the reality is, when you go off to university and you're doing your degree and your third or fourth year final exams, they're probably much more important than the Leaving Cert.
Yeah.
In a way, because that's your career. But then you need this stepping stone to get onto that, I suppose. And there is pressure to it. And it's a tough year for students.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise around it.
And what's happening at CMETB? You've lots of courses underway and starting.
Yeah, so we in adult education. So we do a lot of part-time courses. So we just mentioned Cavan Institute, if you're doing a full-time course, you do 8 modules. So if you're going to do a business award, you do 8 modules. When you start in September, you finish up the following April and May with your full award. A lot of people will come through adult ed, part-time courses where you do 1 module at a time. So it's 3 hours once a week for maybe 12, 13 weeks. So for a lot of parents maybe, or people who are working and want to do part-time courses, that's another option. It'll only be up to level 5, sometimes a few level 6s, but it's an opportunity to do something. You get a full award, but it'll take that little bit longer, obviously, because you're doing part-time. So we have classes running in Dunmore and Monaghan, Carrickmacross and Monaghan, Cavan Town and Ballajames Duff, and then we have outreaches. So there's a few courses going on over in Mulla, Bailieborough. With healthcare, and we will have business and level 5, and then we'd have some introductory. So there's a lot of introductory courses for people, level 2s, level 3s that have never used a computer before.
Mm-hmm.
And the level 2, for example, is a really basic introductory. And so it's a good opportunity for people to learn new skills. I often think it's a very good way as a social outlet.
Yeah.
Classes, it's all adults. It's now, anyway, as I say, over the age of 16, it's not full-time education. There's an opportunity to meet other people, sit down at the break, have a cup of tea, a chat, a nice social thing, and there's no massive pressure on it.
Mm-hmm.
You have a bit of work. It's a much smaller group, so you have a tutor there that's very hands-on, and there's great support available as well.
Yeah.
For anyone that might need it. So we run courses 3 times a year. So the January there was a lot of courses started, and we'll have more starting after Easter, and then September is the big timetable as well. September start.
And for anyone who wants to make contact with you or find out more information online, or you have offices?
Yeah, CMETB.adultguidance.ie, or if you want to contact me directly, Martin McGovern at CMETB.ie. And we also have, we drop in clinic in Ballajames Duff on a Wednesday morning. CMETB Adult Ed Centre is there right beside the museum. So if you go up to the museum, the County Museum, it's just there beside us. We'll drop in every Wednesday morning, no appointment needed, from 9:30 to about 12:30, and pop in there and you'll find me. And then in Cavan Town, we have a lovely new building right beside the cathedral, St. Augustine's.
Mm-hmm.
That only opened up just before Christmas, and my colleague Siobhan Leary would be there Monday to Friday. So it's St. Augustine's, walk in there either if you need to make an appointment. So, and it's all free and it's all confidential. So definitely, if it's something people are interested in, please reach out.
Yeah, and even
have a chat.
Even as you said before, you can be a sounding board for people who are unsure where to go next in their career.
Yeah, a lot of times that would be, and sometimes people come in and they chat about it, and you mightn't see them again. And other times people come in and you meet them 3 or 4 times, and it becomes a journey, and it's a journey. One thing I would say, if I can plug our own podcast,
sure.
Steph and a friend of mine do an educational podcast. If you go into Spotify or any Apple or any of them and type in CMETB, called CMETB, The Journey, and we would have guests on that are learners who've gone through the process. The last episode, it's very popular at the moment, is a guy called Tom Lyons from Belturbet. He couldn't read or write, and he owned a pub, and he's just telling his whole story from his education as a child, and then going back to do a course with himself. And that when he sat in the classroom and the fear came over him, it brought him back to being 11 years of age. And he's very honest and open. He's excellent. And he just talks about, I can't do this. And then, sure, of course, we have a world of support for people to make that work. And he's just talking. And he got his full level 5, well, not his full, but he got his level 5 award in dog grooming. So his assignment's done. And he talks about the sports he got. And then he went on and done a forklift course. And he's continuing on through the journey. And it's worth a listen to give people confidence. And that's only his story, and other stories of people. One guy who was out of work, and David talks about he hadn't even a junior cert done, and he is now a psychiatric nurse with a level 9 master's, and how that process happened. Yeah.
So that's CMETB, The Journey, and just wherever you get listen to your podcast, you'll find it.
Exactly.
Well, listen, Martin, you've given us plenty of food for thought on the podcast this month. And many thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Thanks for having me, Declan. All right, bye-bye.
You can listen to all of the previous episodes of the Virginia Roundup wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Audible, and at thevirginiaroundup.podbean.com.
And many thanks to Martin for joining us here on the Virginia Roundup. Now, after the hustle and bustle of Christmas and the New Year, I think it's time for a 2-minute reset.
The 2-minute reset on the Virginia Roundup.
January often arrives quietly, carrying the weight of new expectations. The celebrations fade, routines resume, and many of us feel pressure to reset our lives all at once. That is why January is widely recognised as Mental Wellness Month, a timely reminder that caring for our minds is just as important as setting goals or making plans. Mental wellness is not simply the absence of stress or struggle. It is the ongoing practice of understanding, supporting, and nurturing our emotional health. After the busyness of the holidays, January offers a natural pause, a chance to check in with ourselves. How are we really feeling? What do we need more of? And what might we need to let go? This month encourages small, sustainable steps rather than drastic change. Simple habits such as getting enough rest, staying hydrated, and moving our bodies gently can have a powerful impact on mood and clarity. Equally important is creating space for reflection through journaling, mindfulness, or quiet moments away from constant stimulation. These practices help us process emotions instead of pushing them aside. January is also a reminder that mental wellness thrives on connection. Reaching out to friends, family, or professionals can reduce feelings of isolation, which are common at the start of the year. Asking for help is not a weakness. It is an act of self-awareness and strength. Mental Wellness Month invites open conversations that challenge stigma and normalize emotional struggles. As the year begins, it's worth remembering that growth doesn't have to be loud or immediate. Healing and balance often happen slowly in everyday choices. By honouring Mental Wellness Month in January, we set a compassionate tone for the months ahead, one that values rest alongside ambition, kindness alongside productivity, and mental health as a lifelong priority, not a seasonal concern. I'm Michelle, and I'll be back with another 2-minute reset on the next episode of the Virginia Roundup.
The 2-minute reset on the Virginia Roundup.
The Virginia Roundup.
Many thanks for that, Michelle. As Michelle said, she'll be back next month here on the Virginia Roundup. Now, this month, we're giving our community notice board a rest, but don't forget, if you have any upcoming events, whether they're community or charity related, or if you're involved in an organisation or a sports club that you'd like promoted on our community notice board, you can send your notice to us along with your details, the Virginia Roundup at gmail.com, and you'll also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/the Virginia Roundup, and we'll include it on our notice board free of charge. But right now, it's time for this.
Age Defy Fitness on the Virginia Roundup with Gary Brazil and Steel Flex Gym. Coming soon to Virginia. Stay tuned for more details.
Hey folks, Gary Brazil here, personal trainer, coach, former I'll Start Monday guy and founder of Age Defy Fitness. This is your first time tuning into my piece on the Virginia Roundup, you are very, very welcome. But if you've been here before, well, you know what I'm all about. I specialise in helping men and women over 40, the ones who feel like they've tried it all, the ones who've had the gym memberships, the diet books, the nutrition plans that have lasted a week. I help them finally take back control, not just with fat loss, but with confidence, energy, and a real mindset shift. And I'd like to wish you all a very, very happy 2026, and I hope you have a very healthy and happy one. So today, I'm going to talk about why people fail at the checkout in the supermarket with their food choices and how to fix it. Now, quick disclaimer before I get going. We're in Virginia. We have Lidl and Tesco. I'm not promoting one supermarket or over another here. I shop where the bargains are, where most of us do, and where the car can actually get a car park space. So in Virginia, it might be Lidl one week, Tesco the next. And if you're like me, it's wherever you can get in and out without starting around the car park. This piece is about smart shopping, not brand loyalty. Most people don't fail in the gym or even going out for exercises when they're going on a healthy fitness regime. They fail with the supermarket trolley. So if your kitchen's full of handier foods than your habits, you're going to eat the handy foods. So today we're going to build a 10-item trolley plan. We're going to learn fast label readings, do some budget swaps, and we'll finish with a 3-day mix and match plan that you can actually cook even if you're exhausted. So let's get into the 10-item trolley plan. Number 1, eggs. You can boil a batch of them on Sunday. 5 minutes to peel, 5 seconds to eat. Have them for breakfast, a snack, or even chopped into a wrap. Next one, Greek-style yogurt. I love this, and it's high in protein. It's great with fruit, it's great for a snack. You can even store it into if you're doing a curry, because it helps cool it down. The higher protein content, the better. Chicken fillets, turkey mince. You can batch cook them, I do it all the time. Put some salt, pepper, garlic into the oven, done. Tinned fish, so things like tuna, salmon, mackerel. Zero preparation with these, you have them in the press. Protein for pennies. Mix it up with some light mayonnaise, bit of sweet corn. Put it into a wrap or a sandwich. Microwave rice or quick cook pasta is another one. Now, the purists will faint at this, but I always suggest this because the portion control is already built in. Be fed in 90 seconds. Next option, things like cottage cheese. Now, not everybody likes them. I don't like it personally, but it's great. It's high in protein, so if you can stomach it, it's a great option. Frozen veg, things like peas, mixed veg, stir-fry mixes. No chopping, no guilt. We use them all the time here in the house. Bagged salad. So if you don't want to chop it, just buy it chopped. Add a bit of protein, add a bit of dressing, have it for dinner with a bit of chicken. Then get fruit that you'll actually eat. So your apples, your berries, your bananas, your oranges. Don't be getting the exotic stuff that just dies in the bowl while you stare at it. Then you have things like wholemeal wraps, breakfast burritos, tuna wraps, chicken and salad wrap, or even wrap the strips of the wholemeal wrap and put it into the toast and you have fake nachos. Then we have the sauce helpers, things like passata, pesto, salsa, soy sauce. 1 jar equals 5 different meals. That's as long as you don't pour half of it into the pot at once. Now we're going to look at labels. So reading labels on food without giving yourself a headache. There's only really 2 numbers that you need to look at. First one, how much protein is in the actual food per 100 grams. The higher the protein content, the better for fullness and stopping you snacking on all them bad foods in the evening. Then look at how many calories there are per 100 grams. So pick the option that lets you have a decent portion without using up your day's calorie content in one go. Then look at things like the sneaky sugar. If sugar is listed in the top 3 ingredients on the food label, say for instance on a cereal bar, that's an actual treat. It's not breakfast. Then look at the oil content. Crispy and coated. So say you're getting your battered chicken or your battered fish or whatever. That often means we've deep fried it, then the packet lost the run of itself. You can still buy it, but just don't tell yourself it's healthy food. Another one then, sodium sanity. If your ankles start playing the tin whistle after you've had a ready meal, check the salt content on that item of food next time. There's plenty of decent low salt options out there now. Okay, so you're listening to me going, yeah, Gary, that all sounds great, but it's probably going to cost me a fortune. It absolutely doesn't have to. Here's how we keep the protein up and keep the prices down. So get the branded yogurt versus the own brand. I get my yogurt in Lidl, it's very, very cheap for the Greek yogurt. And it usually has the exact same macros, same ingredients as the one that's probably twice the price. Chicken fillets, turkey mince, chicken thighs. It's cheaper and it's still a great amount of protein in it. Fresh berries in winter, frozen berries. Cheaper, last forever, and they're perfect for putting on yogurt. Microwave rice, boil in the bag. Slightly cheaper per portion if you can wait the 10 minutes. So it's up to yourself. If you find that you only have a few minutes to get food ready, get the microwave rice. But if you can wait a bit longer, get the boil in the bag. Then you have the fancy nuts versus the own brand mixed nuts. So watch the portions. Nuts are lovely, but they don't love your calorie budget bag. Okay, now we've talked about all that. Here are a simple 3-day plan that you can actually start implementing today. So get a pen and paper. You can write this down. So day 1, breakfast. Some Greek yogurt, frozen berries, tablespoon of porridge oats. Lunch, chicken wrap, bit of salad, spoon of salsa. Dinner, turkey mince, so turkey, passata, mixed veg, bit of microwave rice. And then for a snack, a couple of boiled eggs, or even if you can stomach the cottage cheese, put on a few crackers. Day 2, breakfast. 2 to 3 scrambled eggs, toast, some tomatoes. Lunch, tuna sweet corn wrap with a bit of light mayo. Dinner, tray bake some chicken thighs, bit of frozen veg, small baked potato. For your snack, apple, banana, whichever fruit you like, with a handful of nuts. And then for day 3, some overnight oats with a bit of high protein yogurt and some berries. For lunch, have more of the chicken that you cooked the previous night, put it into a salad with a bit of pesto. Then for dinner, stir-fried veg, strips of chicken, bit of soy sauce, some noodles or rice. And for your snack, you can have one of the protein yogurts. There's a lot of yogurts out there that are very high in protein content. So again, check the food labels. Now, here's a portion guide. If you don't want to be weighing food or even looking at the food labels, here's a quick tip. So when you come to your protein, palm to a palm of a half. So say you put the chicken in your hand. So it's a palm to a palm and a half per meal. If you're a bit bigger like me, 2 palms of that. Carbs, a cupped hand for meals when you need fuel. So if you're going training, if you're going walking, if you're doing exercising, or even for the evening munchies. Then your healthy fats. So things like a tongue of cheese, a bit of pesto, some nuts, bit of oil. Then food and salad, 2 large fists of that if you can manage it. Now, we all buy this food and then we go in and maybe the stuff that's there and you don't know whether you're going to be using it or not. So here's another tip. I'm at the buying it and it went off. That's when you buy the frozen or the tinned versions because they weigh and they don't come to waste. No time to cook? Okay, 5-minute dinner. Microwave rice, cooked chicken, bit of salsa and some salad. There, it's done. The kids won't eat the food I'm cooking. So keep the base the same. Just change the topping. So maybe have pasta for them with cheese, pasta for you with pesto and a bit of chicken. Everyone wins. 1 pot, 1 wash. I hate chopping food. So buy the pre-chopped vegetables. You're not auditioning for MasterChef. You're just trying to make Thursday survivable. I'm always snacking at night. So have a planned night snack. Protein yogurt, popcorn, planned beets. Oh shite, Matt, they're eating the whole tin of biscuits. So here's a few reminders for me. Shop after a snack, not when you're hungry, because hungry brains buy stupid things, and I've done it myself in the past. Walk the outside aisles in the supermarket first. That's where your proteins, your dairies, your fruits, your veg are. The treats live in the middle aisles. Keep a backup meal in the press. So things like tinned fish, microwave rice, frozen peas, dinner in 5 minutes. A treat is fine a couple of times a week, but 5 or 6, because it's the weekend, is when your Monday jeans start plotting. So there you go. Lidl, Tesco in Virginia. Pick your battlefield. I don't care where you shop. I care that your trolley makes your week easier. Keep those 10 items that are listed in the house. Read the numbers on the label. Use the budget swaps and follow the 3-day plan when life gets hectic. Your future self will feel better, look better, and won't have to remortgage the house when you go for your shopping. So that's all from me. If you want some help turning a plan for you and your family and your schedule into something that's workable and survivable, I coach in person at Steel Flex Gym in Cross, and it's soon moving to Virginia Town. I also do online coaching and run some fitness classes. So drop me a message, and we'll make January, February and the further months of the year easier to win. If you're looking for any help and guidance, you can drop me a message on Instagram, Gary Brazil Age Defy Fitness, or on Facebook at Age Defy Fitness with Gary Brazil. And if you want more information on Steel Flex Gym moving to Virginia, why not follow the page on Instagram at Steel Flex Gym. I'm Gary Brazil. This is Age Defy Fitness, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Age Defy Fitness on the Virginia Roundup with Gary Brazil and Steel Flex Gym. Coming soon to Virginia. Stay tuned for more details.
And many thanks for that, Gary. Some fascinating tips as always. And Gary back with us next month here on the Virginia Roundup. And that's all we've got time for on this month's edition of the Virginia Roundup. Thank you to all my guests as always, to Gary, to Martin and to Michelle. Don't forget, if you want to make contact with us, our email address is thevirginiaroundup@gmail.com, and you can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Virginia Roundup. So until our next episode on the 15th of February, from Declan Traynor, it's bye-bye for now.